The pledge today is I will support one team. I will consider how my actions impact my teammates and check my ego at the door. We win and lose as a team, so I will support others' decisions even when I may disagree. I will step into another role or help a coworker when that's what's required for success. I love this pledge. It's all about teamwork. As I heard somebody say once, teamwork is what makes the team work. And there's a story that is told in the book EntreLeadership by Dave Ramsey that I think is a great example of what teamwork really means. And he talks about these Belgian horses. So they have these competitions once a year with these Belgian horses that can pull these really big weights. And so one of the interesting things about the horses is that if you put one horse, strap them to a load, about the maximum that one horse can pull is around 8,000 pounds. That's a pretty substantial amount, obviously a lot more than you or I can do. But then it's interesting because if they put two Belgian horses together, they can actually pull around 24,000 pounds. So two, but yet 3 times the amount of weight. So that's kind of an interesting thing that happens. And then if those two horses have been trained together over the years, then they can actually pull 32,000 pounds. So now 4 times the amount of weight as one could pull. And I think that's a great example. Obviously, we in our company are not pulling weight around, usually speaking. But it's a great example of the impact that teamwork can have. That, hey, when we work together, even if we're maybe new with each other and working together, that can have an impact, and that can be far better than just 1 + 1 = 2. We can actually get more done. And when we really learn to work better together, then it can even become even that much more exponential in terms of its impact. The next thing I kind of think of is these 2 alternate scenarios that happen, and I've used these many times with you guys, but I think it really illustrates the difference of what teamwork has in terms of the impact of success. So the first scenario is you got a great decision that's made, and let's just assume it's the perfect decision, and not a better decision could be made, but the team doesn't like the decision, there's bickering, there's arguing, and there's not any kind of cooperation or coordination in terms of the execution on that decision. So that's scenario 1. Perfect decision and less than good teamwork in terms of actually executing that decision. Scenario 2 is a bad decision that's made. Maybe not like completely wrong direction, but instead of let's go around the mountain, let's go right over the top, 20,000 feet over kind of deal. But then in that scenario, with a poor decision being made, the team comes together and says, hey, we're going to make this happen. We're going to execute on this. They work together to a conclusion. Now, which of those scenarios do you think is going to have a better outcome? The answer is always the team that works together. And you can see this in classic movies back to like Mighty Ducks or whatever that didn't have as good as stars, but they worked better together. And there's probably 100 different sports movies that are all about that exact same theme of less than highly talented players that work together, but because they work so well together, they accomplish something that the highly talented players couldn't do, even 2 or 3 times more talented, couldn't because they didn't have the teamwork in place. Now, obviously, if we can make great decisions and be a great team, then that even is that much better. But I use those examples to illustrate the impact that a teamwork can have, even in the scenarios that decisions are not ideal. And let's be realistic. In business, not every decision that's made, whether I'm making it or many of you are making it, it's not going to be the best decision all the time. We're going to try our best to make the best decisions, but sometimes hindsight's 20/20, and we learn a lot of things. And so what really matters is trying to make those great decisions. But the most important thing is when those decisions are made, how do we react to those? What do we do? And do we take those and run with those to success, or do we bicker and complain? So I really encourage you guys, as we go this week, consider, hey, how can I support the team? How can I jump into somebody else's job? Let me put my ego aside, leave it at the door, and remember, hey, we win and lose as a team, so we better all work together. So look forward to see everybody really pull it out this week, working your hardest and supporting each other.